You're listening to Melissa Gorga on Display with me, Melissa Gorga, on Podcast One.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average oak tree branch can hold 70 pounds. Something you probably do know, your neighbor is building their kid a treehouse. Something you probably don't know, a falling treehouse would take out your whole fence. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
I'm definitely a Gemini in that I have one nanny that takes care of my kids and one nanny that takes care of me. I'm a fucking mess.
Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of Melissa Gorga on Display. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. My last episode, we did a best of, so I feel like we haven't spoken a while, and I'm so excited to have a beautiful human with me today. She's an actress, she's a comedian, she's a writer, she's a podcast host, and she's so many other things. She has 2 new books coming out this year. Ladies and gentlemen, it's jennymollen. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Did I say your name right? Mollen?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. I feel like I butcher everyone's last name, so I just decided to own that I butcher it and just get corrected if need be.
So many people ask me, they're like, is it Mollen? Is it Mollen? I'm like, I don't care. It's either.
Right.
I'm just being like an individual that's not just like Jason Biggs's guest when I go places.
Oh my God. See, I love that. At least you're honest about it, because he has, I mean, obviously your husband, we'll add this in for anyone who's just tuning in and doesn't know, like, this is Jason Biggs' wife that we're speaking to today. And that's a huge name too. Just because of American Pie, let's be honest, that was like crazy, right? So do you get that a lot? Do you get the fact that?
Well, I used to. When we first met, I mean, I didn't want to date him because I felt like I was very jealous. I couldn't handle that I didn't like that he was famous. It really got under my skin because I felt at 28 years old, when I walked into a room, I was like, I'm used to getting some attention, and now I'm invisible, and all anybody wants is to talk to Jason. And so that
and ask for his picture and give him all this attention. And you're like, I'm right here.
I'm like, as an overachiever, this really irks me. Somebody who's always been sort of my father's daughter. I mean, it was like a redux with marrying a man that also sort of eclipsed me on some level. And Jason's always like, what did I ever do to you besides support you? All you've done your entire career is try to bring me down. But it's true. It's I'm driven by this insatiable need to have some sort of triumph over him, and he's really done nothing but support me ever. It's so fucked up.
Oh my God. That's actually a really cute story. And I can understand, because I'm super jealous too. And just in our own, obviously Joe and I are we became famous together on this reality show. So I feel like we're pretty equal when it comes to walking into a room, but there's definitely times where, if it's definitely a lot more women that watch this show, I would say, than men.
Yes.
So, when we walk into a room full of women, they flock to him, and I'm like, wait, what's happening?
That would make me nuts.
Yes. Yeah. So I totally feel your pain.
I'm cooler than him, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a second. Housewives. I'm the housewife. Hello.
Totally.
What's happening here? No, but he loves it. And they all know, to know him is to know that he's such a ham, and he loves the attention. So they they're going to go where they're going to get the most bang for their buck. They'll get the most attention going that way. So I just started
watching your show. I just started watching Housewives, and you guys really sucked me. And I have to say that you guys remind me a lot of Jason and I.
Really?
And I'm obsessed. Yeah. And I love that you're with a man that can gossip with the ladies, that can get into the drama, that you can sort of, I always feel like Jason and I are like Laverne and Shirley, I love Lucy, then he's more my Ethel than my Desi. And I love that in a man. I look for that.
Do you? Okay, good. Because I feel like Joe gets sucked in for so many reasons. Obviously, because he has a sister on the show, because he has a wife on the show, because his nieces are on the show, because he has a daughter on the show, his parents. So He gets sucked in, I would say, a lot more than the other like house husbands because there's just so many different subjects you can approach with him. But he's such like a, he wears like his heart on his sleeve. He's a big supporter, like you're saying, Jason is like very big at like lifting you up, whatever you want to do. He's there to back you up. So wait, what season are you on? Are you starting like from season 1?
No, I started on this season and now I have to go backwards. I don't know if that was the wrong way to do it, but it was just, I'm not great at working my television. And so what was on and I couldn't really get out of it.
Got it. Because there is so much family history.
I need the history. Exactly.
Gosh,
but I'm already seeing it. The dynamics are wild.
It's wild. I would love for you to go back and watch from starting like season 3 when we joined the show, and then talk to me in like 6 months when you're done with all of that and tell me how you feel.
That. I'm in for that. Yes.
That's like, just start binge watching when you guys are bored at night. That's hysterical. Where do you guys actually live? Where are you?
We're in Manhattan, but Jason's from Jersey. Jason grew up in Hasbrook Heights.
He did. That's right over here in Bergen County. That's right by me. That's where I am over here.
I'm there all the time. My in-laws still live there.
And do you go visit?
Constantly, yes.
Oh, I love that. And you guys have 2 kids.
We have 2 sons, and we've been back here for probably 7 years. Before that, we were in LA for 19 separately and then together. And we moved to New York when Sid was about 6 months old.
Wow. So when you met him, was it the height of his career and you were also writing? And what were you doing at the time when you guys had met?
We were auditioning for a movie, and it was this Kate Hudson, Dane Cook movie. And my sister was dating a guy that repped the writer. And so he said, "Oh, your sister's an actress. She should come in on this film." And then I went in on the movie. She's like, I got you an audition for this thing. And I went in. Then I went to, you go to the next round, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for making me look good." Cause he didn't know I could have been, terrible, but he just wanted to talk to my sister. So he's just like, "Sure, here's an audition." So he calls me one night and he's like, hey, you want to see the audition tapes? You want to see the other girls you're up against? And that, as an actress, was like a dream come true. I don't think
you're like, abso-freaking-lutely I do. Like,
roll the fucking tapes.
Yes.
So I'm watching these girls and it was like so enlightening in retrospect, because you realize there's nothing anybody's doing that's that different. It's just a vibe. And now as a writer and somebody who's like casts people and things, I'm like, no, it's just like, you have the vibe. You remind me of this person, or you have an essence that I'm gravitating towards. It's not really about like who performed the best scene,
Yes.
So like, as a theater major, I was like, I'm going to be the lead. So coming out of college and like, getting into this world was really just a mind fuck. So I'm watching the tapes and he goes, "While you're at it, watch the 2 guys we're choosing between. One is Jason Biggs and one is, I don't know, I think his name was Todd Grinnell, this other actor who I actually knew, but he wasn't famous." And I said, "You got to give it to Todd. You got to give it to the underdog. You can't give it to Jason Biggs. Like, fuck Jason Biggs. He's like that guy from like those like teen comedy." I was so snobby.
Like, he gets everything. Like, give someone else a chance.
And I'm like totally projecting. I'm like, give it to the underdog, like myself. And so he's like, okay. So I hang up the phone and I watch the tapes. And Jason gave like the best audition of his life. I to this day tell him, I'm like, you were better in that audition than you even were in the movie. You were so good. Really? So I called Doug back and I said, "I'm so sorry to tell you this, but you have to give it to Jason. He's such a talented actor." I'm shook. I was so surprised. And a few weeks went by, and then
I love this story. Wait a second. This is so, and you guys don't even like, you're not even attracted to each other at this point. Is there flirtatious things happening?
No, I didn't even met him. So
oh my God. Okay.
Really
so he was like the actor to you at this point. Like, you didn't know him
I'd like never seen American Pie. I just had all these like preconceived
Got it.
prejudices against him.
Yes.
Because he was more famous than me. And so I literally, I just remember thinking, that guy's just really talented.
Right.
So then a few weeks later, my sister calls and she's like, "Will you go to double date with me and Doug and Jason?" And that threw me, because I wasn't thinking I was going to date him, but I also was like, wait, is this a test? Am I going to, if I say no, am I not in this movie?
Exactly. And at this point, what do you have to lose? I mean,
and I know
right?
Me Too movement and everything, but I was like, is this a casting couch situation? And like, I guess I'm going to go.
I mean, look how many years later, here you are, 2 kids later. And how many years later has it been? How long have you
it's been 15 years.
Wow.
My sister's like, just come, it's free sushi. Just come, it's free sushi. So I went and I met him and we hit it off. We were definitely like, I thought, he was funny, but it wasn't like fireworks, And then what happened was he got in the movie first, and then I went back to hating him. Of course, this is just who I am.
Because you're working together, or because he got it?
I didn't get in the movie yet, and he did.
My
I was
God.
like, wait a minute, fuck that guy again, right? Even though
he's annoying, right?
I got it. Everything. And then a few weeks later, I found out I was in the movie. So we were in Boston together for 3 months-ish. And that's when we fell madly in love, and we were married 9 months later.
Oh, wow. That is very similar. Joe and I got married within 10 months of dating and meeting.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best way.
You know what? For me, with relationships. Yes. And it's like when you know, and when you're both in that mind frame, it's just that point, or you've dated people before, you just know what you're looking for. And that's everyone's like, how could you guys get married within 10 months? I'm like, here we are 17 years later, 3 kids later. Amazing. It was literally, we got engaged within 4 months and we were married within that year. So it was 10 months. Yeah. So we are similar. You see this? When you guys come to Jersey, we have to do a good Bergen County dinner somewhere.
Yes, please.
Oh my God. That's really crazy. So, so you mentioned you helped Jason and supported his auditions. Has he ever auditioned for anything that you're like, maybe this is not your best one, honey?
Oh yeah. All the time. I'm like, don't do this. You're torturing yourself. You're not going to get this role.
You're dead honest with him.
Yes. And I think he appreciates, he's his hardest critic, but now sometimes I just say it because I don't want to run lines with him.
I mean, he's so known. He is so right, which you're going to have to do all the time. Does he do this for you still?
You're not right for this just because I'm busy.
Are you acting? What are you doing in the acting world?
No, I try not to. I'm involved. I have some things that we have to do, but other than that, I really try to not have to get dressed. I really like being at home and just being the master of my own universe in front of my computer.
I love it.
Once I started writing, I was like, why would I ever be on anybody else's schedule again? The years I spent acting, waiting in a trailer for oh, you're not up. It's the fucking worst. It makes me insane.
Now, I'm not an actress, but even just doing a couple random commercials and things I've done, I sit in that trailer for hours. They come pull me. I'm out there for 4 minutes, say whatever it is I need to say. They put me back in the trailer. You sit in the trailer for hours. I'm like, this kind of sucks.
I always say that now. I'm like, why would you want it? Whenever my kids are like, I want to be an actor, I was like, why? What is good about it?
It's a lot of travel. It's not as glamorous as you think. It's just not, right? It's really not. I think people are very misinformed, or they have these misconceptions about what it really, there's a lot of sit around and wait,
So much sit around and wait. And you don't have control. You're a small cog in the wheel. You're basically like Shamu, and everybody else is Shamu's trainer. And at any moment, you might snap and pull somebody underwater by their braid, but eventually you have to jump through the fucking hoop. And that makes me insane.
I agree. Let's hear it for the dads, whether they're new dads, granddads, for all the father figures and honorary dads in our lives. We know they deserve the best. Give them a gift that they didn't even know they needed, but will love for years to come, with Brooklinen's cozy bedding, towels, and other home essentials. Brooklinen, home of the internet's favorite sheets, was created in 2014 to give customers luxury, hotel-level home essentials that don't break the bank. They offer everything from snuggly sheets to cozy towels and robes, loungewear, accessories, and so much more. First time trying Brooklinen? Their best-selling Luxe sheets are the perfect place to start, featuring an irresistible soft feel and buttery smooth finish. And for those of you listening in New York, come see and feel the comfort in real life. You can now shop Brooklinen sheets, towels, and more in-store in Williamsburg and in West Village. So give all those dads the comfort and refresh that they deserve and get it for less at Brooklinen. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code DISPLAY to get $20 off your purchase of $100 or more. That's BROOKLINEN.com and enter promo code DISPLAY for $20 off Brooklinen. Brooklinen, the curators of comfort. I think we've all struggled finding the perfect skincare product, something that has clean, effective ingredients that actually works. That's why I want to tell you about Osea. Osea has been making clean and ultra-effective skincare and body care products for over 25 years, and they're vegan and climate neutral certified. They have award-winning cleansers, serums, and face moisturizers, and they're known for creating incredible body products like their famous body oil. Guys, they have this ocean cleansing milk, which I love, and it's perfect for a makeup remover. It's gentle, it's soft on your skin, and when you really need to get the makeup off, this does the trick. They also have these toning mists that are perfect for giving your skin a toned extra boost of moisture. I love to mist my skin. Since 1996, Osea has been creating clean, vegan, and cruelty-free products that are safe for your skin and for the planet. And they've done it again. Osea's new body butter is softening, nourishing, and has the most amazing citrus scent. It's even clinically proven to moisturize skin for up to 72 hours. Find your new skincare and body care favorites at OseaMalibu.com and get a special discount code just for our listeners. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with promo code Melissa at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get a free sample with every order, and orders over $50 get free shipping. You're going to want it all. Go to OSEAMalibu.com and use code Melissa. You have such a good energy. Are you an Aries? What's your sign?
I'm a Gemini.
You're a Gemini. Oh my God. Do you feel like you're two people sometimes?
Well, I'm a Gemini, but I'm a Libra rising. So I feel a little bit more balanced than maybe a normal Gemini, but I'm definitely a Gemini in that, I have one nanny that takes care of my kids and one nanny that takes care of me. I'm a fucking mess.
I love your honesty though. Wait, so tell me what you talk about on your podcast. What is the name of your podcast?
It's called Thirdwheelin with Jennymollen.
Okay.
And basically, it started out, my mom's been married 6 times. My dad's been married 4 times. I've seen a lot of relationships, and I find it and I was always one foot out the door, even with Jason. I'm like, I think I'm in this. And he's like, well, we've been married for fucking 14 years. But commitment is scary to me. But for whatever reason, I've been able to make it work. And I'm always questioning why that is. It's not like I had any kind of foundation. So I love interviewing couples and just really getting in there, almost like a couples therapist. But, I try to pull back when I feel like the people aren't ready for it. But I love just hearing what was your family of origin like? And, how was love modeled for you growing up? And just to see why certain people work. I find it so fascinating. But now I'm also doing individuals because not everyone wants to have their marriage pried into,
put on blast on your podcast. Right.
Yes.
I feel like you could dig into Joe and I so deep.
Oh my God. I would love it.
First of all, we wrote a whole book about how to keep marriage alive and how to keep it sexy. And then from that point that I wrote that book, I feel like I've changed my views so much. That's just from the beginning, because at first I truly just wanted to be that girl. I graduated college. I was going to be a teacher. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I loved that he worked, he ran everything. And I was just doll up my child and go to Neiman Marcus and decide what I was going to eat for lunch and have dinner ready when he got home. And then 3 to 5 years passed and I'm like, this is for the fucking birds. I have a life too. I have things I need to accomplish too. I'm going to open my store. I'm going to be a businesswoman. I went to college for a reason, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I love that.
I had to flip the switch on the poor guy. And so we've been really
Which needs
working.
to happen.
Yeah,
we when the switch gets flipped on them.
Yes, our new normal has been, special. And as you watch The Real Housewives, you'll definitely see that play out a little bit on the show. But I would love to jump on and have you really dissect Joe and I. We like it. You could open us right up. There's no,
I'm thrilled.
Yes, like we have no boundaries at all because we just say it all.
We don't either. We don't have any boundaries. It's such a problem.
Oh no, that would be awesome for you to do. I didn't know you did like relationship talk. That's a whole nother thing. That I love. Have you ever like done one and then they got upset with you when you were done, or was it like
No, but you know what's happened? I've interviewed people that I really admire as individuals, and then I see their relationship dynamic play out, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is not what I thought it was.
Oh, really?
This marriage isn't what I thought it was. Yeah. And not necessarily in like such a terrible way, but just sort of shocking. Sometimes it's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, it's wild. It's really wild.
I mean, do you ever pull Jason on and do like couples podcasts, or no? This is more just your thing.
I have Jason on, but what happens when Jason comes on is that then, so Jason and I had a serious radio show a few years ago, and it basically would devolve every episode would just be he and I fighting.
Oh, I hear you. Every time I pull Joe on this podcast with me, which is like once a month, we bicker literally, like for real. We're not playing. Like we start.
That's us. We're not playing. It's making people uncomfortable.
I know.
Totally.
We do the same. Literally, we start bickering and everyone laughs at it. I have to be honest, they actually like it. But I'm like, no, we're legit looking at each other and like we'll stop the podcast. And I'm like, oh, like, why would you say that? That's how you feel.
Yes.
Like we're legit bickering the whole time we're on this podcast. We really are.
We would like go home it was at Radio Andy, and we'd go home like in 5 weeks. It was so bad.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God.
No, but by the way, I totally believe you because I feel like, and sometimes I have to look at him during the podcast. I'm like, listen, this is my podcast. I run this show. Yeah. And I'm like, you need to stop getting so heated during it. Like, because he gets embarrassed. So I'll say something to him and I kind of call him out a little bit on my podcast for certain things. And he gets really red. I watch his face and he can't believe that I'm calling him out, but I'm like, this is called unfiltered. We are unfiltered talking. Yes. We're got to be honest with these people and tell them like our real relationship. And he gets so mad at me.
Exactly. So oh my God, I relate to this. Totally.
Oh my God. It's actually like funny. Like we're done with the podcast and we're still like growling at each other for like a good 20 minutes.
Totally.
Unbelievable.
I shot a game show with Jason when I was pregnant with Laszlo. And I mean, every episode the contestants are watching and we're just fucking ready to kill each other.
Oh,
and I mean, it was insane, especially being pregnant. I mean, like being pregnant, I was Moody. Like, don't even step to me. I'll fucking crush you.
I'll bury you. Yeah. Did you know when I was pregnant, Joe used to say like he wanted a divorce. Like every pregnancy, I'm not kidding. He was like, "You're unbearable." Like he would say the word divorce. Like he would literally say, "No." And I was just like, "Am I that bad?" He's like, "You're unbearable." Like I am the worst hormonal pregnant person. I hate the people in the world that they're like, "Oh, I love being pregnant. It's the most beautiful thing." I'm like, "Oh my God, never could I ever do it again." Like I just,
oh my God,
it's just not for me. God bless all the women who have like these beautiful, happy, I love this child inside of me pregnancies because I was evil with every single one.
Oh my God. And I'm like, don't even touch me. Don't even look at me. Like you're like looking at me is bothering me.
Yeah. Like your eye contact is enough. It's annoying.
Contact is fucking pissing me off.
It's crazy, but that was me completely. And then I watch like Kourtney Kardashian that just like loves to be pregnant on TV and she loves to like push the baby out and pull the baby out. And I'm like, what?
I don't get it.
This was not my experience at all.
No, me neither. Never.
Crazy. So you write, I mean, you do a lot of things like, damn, you really do. Like I could see like, it's kind of crazy. So you write books, you've written 2 already, right?
Yes.
What were they about? What is the one? It's called "I Like You Just the Way You Are." Is that what you wrote?
"I Like You Just the Way I Am" is like
The Way I Am
is like a Chelsea Handler comedic memoir. That's sort of my like manifesto for all women to be like crazy bitches everywhere. It's like embrace your crazy, don't deny it. Any woman that tells you that she's not crazy is lying to you. Like this is what this is reality. And so it's like me, I like was very obsessed with Jason's ex-girlfriend, like to a point where like I had to like befriend her using a fake identity on Facebook and then like make her love me more than she ever liked him. Like it was really sick shit. But I also, again, had a lot of time on my hands. I didn't have kids at the time.
Like this is when you guys first started dating.
Yeah, and got married. And there's like this story that like kind of, I guess, is the thing that like blew up, like was the reason I started writing a column for Playboy early on, because my writing career sort of started because I was on Twitter and I was just like angry enough to be funny, I guess. So I was always tweeting. And at that time, like Twitter, like really democratized comedy for just like female writers in LA specifically. And so I was able to just kind of accrue this like following of really cool people. And I wrote this story that was true, but was about like me hiring this prostitute in Vegas, like for Jason for one of his birthdays. I don't remember like when.
It's a true? You said this is true?
It's true. And it was like a fucking like Larry David episode. Like really, it sounds like a hotter than it is, but it was amazing. And like, you know,
I thought I was the coolest wife there was. I'm just saying, like, I thought I was so cool and that Joe and I had like this crazy, amazing relationship. You are killing. I am like Mother Teresa right now speaking to you. You like top the cake. I can't even like your energy is it's crazy to me right now. Wait, so you
but I'm not like, he hates me. I'm also so annoying. I mean, so like, you know, it was horrible because she came and then she was like what she looked like in the picture. And then Jason was like, she needs to go. And I'm like, how do I say that to her? And so then we had like another one came and then we didn't have like enough money because we had like, I don't know what they told me at the time. It was like $300 cash. And she's like, that's just to walk in the door. And I'm like, Jason, you don't need more money. Like you're embarrassing me in front of the hooker. Now she can't afford her. Like, so like we're running downstairs to the ATM. It was just a nightmare, like comedy of errors, insanity. Like ending with like me like eating chips in a corner and like some like really like haphazard blowjob happening like before my eyes. It was just like insane. So that
was a hooker fail. It was like a hooker fail.
It was like a hooker fail, but it was like also like a priceless story. I was like, God, and I love to chase the story, so I'll just like go to the bitter end just to have the story.
Right.
Jason's like Jason. I mean, it was like the least hot experience of Jason's life for sure.
Wait a second. Let me just clear, just in case I'm a little confused. Was Jason getting the blowjob?
Yes.
And you were watching?
Yes. And he was like, this is not fun, Jenny. Please like make it stop.
Are you married at this point? Are you married?
Yes. And I was like going through the mini bar. He's like, could you like come and like sit on the bed?
What birthday was this for? How old was he turning?
I don't know. I mean, maybe 29, 30.
This is unreal. Like unreal.
Like,
you are the most interesting woman I've ever spoken to. Do you know how jealous? You can't be that jealous. I mean,
well, I'm not jealous in that way. I was jealous more like that, like his ex-girlfriend like hated me because of him. And I was like, if she knew me, she would love me.
Like you were like, she needs to learn who I am as a person and have nothing to do with you. She needs to like me.
Yes. So I would find little things of hers around the house and then like regift them back to her to like lure her in. So it was that.
But you didn't want her to have anything to do with Jason.
Well, I didn't really care about that. Jason like wanted her to have nothing to do with like him. And so I felt like I had to take her under my wing. But Jason found out about it. It was bad. And then like years, like he's still finding things out that like I like just omitted about like my relationship with her. But yes, I promised to never write about her again because like I've written her like several different like amends and you know, she doesn't answer me at this point, but
is she so over you, whoever she is at this point?
I'm sure she fucking is so over me. And like the beauty of it, the way it really ended, my last final showdown with her was on the island of Nantucket, because of course she's my Moby Dick and I'm Captain Ahab. And I see her crossing the street and she's like, it was like one of these moments where like my children are running straight towards her. My sister is friends with her sister. They go to school together. It was this whole crazy moment where when I got to like, you know, up close to her after all these years, she was like, I used to be the fuck out, which she should have, like I really
mean,
her for
it's
my
reminding me of like the Carrie Bradshaw, what we just watched on Sex in the City, where she was obsessed with the ex-girlfriend for Big's ex-girlfriend. And even when he like, this is only this is real life. Yours is like real life.
This is real fucking life. And if you follow the there was so much. There was like me and my mom getting a like pedicure opposite her and her mom at like a nail salon. Just happened that way.
Oh
and,
my goodness.
So many crazy things happened. And I really feel badly. I did like fuck with her too much. And I do actually really like her. So it's so sad,
Jesus Christ.
I did exploit her for my comedy, which like, I guess I should not have done in retrospect. I wouldn't do it that way now. But anyway, that's the first book. And then the second book is called Live Fast, Die Hot. And that is about my reluctance to be a mom. It was when I first got pregnant with Sid. And it's sort of just this journey of like, I call it like postpartum from the edge. It was all this crazy shit I did, after I had him.
Got it.
I did like ayahuasca in Peru with Chelsea Handler. I went and met the women who wove the Moroccan rug in my living room, like in the Atlas Mountains, because I thought that maybe they would bring me some sort of wisdom. I don't know. That was like also another crazy caper filled thing. And then this new book is a novel. So it's totally different.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Life can be overwhelming, and so many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms of burnout can be all sorts of things, including a lack of motivation, moodiness, fatigue, and more. I think we all associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause for this kind of stress. Any of our roles in life can lead us to feel burned out. Trust me, as a mom, as a business owner, and as a real housewife of New Jersey, I know firsthand what burnout feels like. You're juggling all the roles, wearing all the hats, just hoping nothing tips over and nothing breaks. And many of those times, we forget about taking care of ourselves too. Well, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you figure out what's causing all the stress in your life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Gorga. That's betterhelp.com/Gorga. No one likes waiting on a paycheck, especially when you've got bills due. Good thing there's Chime. Now you get your paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit. That's up to 2 more days to save, pay bills, and generally just feel good about your money situation. Trust me, as a mom who runs a business and looks after her family, there's nothing better than getting money you earned early. But Chime is more than just about getting paid early. It's also an award-winning mobile app, checking account, debit card, and optional savings account. So what are you waiting for? Hopefully not your paycheck. Get started with Chime today. Applying for a free account takes less than 2 minutes. Get started at chime.com/Melissa. That's chime.com/Melissa. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on the payer. So this new book comes out June 14th. Yes. Talk to me about this news, because I want to know who you are now, because I got the past, I think I got you down in the past. Talk to me what this new book is going to be about, because that I'm interested
so this new book happened because I came to New York. We moved to New York. I had finished the second book. I was writing the feature for the second book. So I was writing it as a movie for Warner Brothers at the time. And that was like I every day had to be like, just like fucking pounding on my computer. And so I didn't have much of a social life, but I managed to make a few mom friends in the city. I had a young child, and then I was about to be pregnant. I was pregnant with Laszlo. And what started to happen at that same time was like Instagram changed, and it changed into this place where like you could really like cash in on being a mom. And what was the crazy thing was that brands and all these people started to just approach me, and they wanted to sort of like pay me to do this or sell that. And it was just this weird thing where my boundary kept getting challenged of like, what are you okay with? What are you willing? How far will you like sell out? And for me, like, I don't post my kids' faces. I'm also like neurotic about that. Okay. So I felt that it was a really slippery slope and like a hard line to walk, because my entire livelihood was like becoming about like being somehow this like voice of motherhood. And, you know, in LA, like you're only as popular as the last pilot you shot. But in New York, I had this audience already. I had this like audience of women between 18 to 25 with a little bit of buying power. And all of these companies wanted something from me. So all of these doors opened, and I'm being invited to these like underground mommy supper clubs and weddings for dogs and like fashion week, like, you know, crazy ass shit. And I guess what I started to notice was like the women around me, the other like quote unquote influencers, it's like the motherhood that they were portraying online and sort of selling the public wasn't the motherhood that they were actually living. And I had this question that sort of just ran rampant in my head, which was, if you're so busy curating motherhood online for other people, how present are you in your real life for your own fucking kids? And so that just like haunted me. And I thought to myself, like, if I don't write this book, first of all, it has to be fiction, because if I write it as a memoir, I'll have to move out of town. Like I will have burnt every fucking bridge. But if I don't write this book, like if I don't write it, I'm going to become it. And so for me, this book is like such a personal, it's such like more like personal than any of the other books, because it's such a, I don't know, like a cautionary tale. And so
essentially you became an influencer. You became a mommy influencer, essentially.
Yes.
And then
but,
now
you know, it was like the drugs that I was like, I mean, it was the drug that like external validation from strangers was like the other woman in my marriage. You know what I mean? Like it was pulling me out of my life, and I had to like put it on paper, because like I had to at least like in like this world, like I had to say like, I choose you to my kids, because I just needed it to be like concretized.
Wow. And then coming from a world that is so like managed by social media and like it's such a big, huge thing. It sucks you in like you wouldn't believe. Just it's like you're looking for your next post, you're looking for your next gig, you're impressing this like outside world. And sometimes, and it's funny. And if this is what it's about, I can totally hear you, because sometimes you're doing all these things and you're showing all these things, but or even a mom at the beach with their child, just showing the child at the beach. But did you spend 5 minutes actually playing in the water with the child, or did you just get the picture from the child for the last 30 minutes? Right.
That's what I fucking can't stand. Yes.
I know. Okay. So that is the world we are living in. That's the world we're living in, which is like, I love that you're writing. That's the one that's going to come out June 14th.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have another one.
I cry about this book. Like this book was such a labor of love, and it was not easy. Nobody wanted this book from me. Like to get this published was hell on earth. Everybody wanted another, you know, another funny book of essays. And I was like, no, this is the story I have to tell. So I hope that it's like my Jaws this time, it's personal. Like I need this book to do better than all of them.
Because it's a personal story. And so
totally.
It hits home a little bit more. And then you have another one coming out in 2022 also, right?
So then I have a book coming out in September that's a cookbook. It's like, I call my children, they're like dictators, and I'm just living in like this autocratic society where I basically work for them. So this second book is about the lunches that I make for them, because I think that how we parent as mothers is just like a complete like reaction to like whatever mother you had yourself. And for me, I'm sublimating my guilt by making them these little movable feasts that's to send with them to school, because I'm not the mom that's picking them up after school. I'm not always there. I do work, but I feel like shame and guilt for working, because I was also a latchkey kid. Like I'm the product of a mom who worked as well. So like I'm so torn. And I started making these lunches, like just like, I don't know, to entertain myself. And then all of a sudden it grew into its own like Instagram. And after a while I was like, maybe this is a book. So now it is. Now
are they health conscious lunches?
Yeah, like I'm neurotic about what they eat.
Okay, give me an example. Like what is going to be in your son's lunch or your daughter's lunch?
Okay, so like I could do like a grain-free chicken schnitzel. That's like I use like cassava flour and like turmeric and like sesame seeds instead of maybe like a traditional type of breading.
Okay.
Or I do I have like a spaghetti squash pad thai. That's not in the book, but I just recently have been like doing that one a lot. I do a lot of like I'll do like it's super easy. You get like a rotisserie chicken and then you take like coconut milk, you saute some onions and like do a little curry seasoning. So this easy stuff too, because again, I'm like left-handed. I was dyslexic, anorexic, and a theater major. Like I'm not a cook. So
Oh my God.
I need easy. I need fucking easy, but it's all very health conscious. And yeah, because I think that like, and I know this is like, so people will like hate me for saying this, but I think that like, you know, it's neglectful to like not worry about your kids' nutrition. We focus so much on like their piano lessons and their fucking Latin and can they do this and that, and we're sending them to these private schools, but like we feed them like it's the 1980s. It makes no sense to me. So
You're really absolutely right about that. We're like heating up frozen chicken nuggets and like the French fries, like, or whatever is like the fastest. No, you have a lot of like, as crazy as some of the things sound, right? And the things that we're talking about, you make so much sense when it comes to, because listen, we all deal with working moms. We all deal with mom guilt, right? So, and I'm a big one on that. Like I have it constantly. I have to travel a lot. And so right now I feel guilty. Right now I'm sitting here like, wait, what did I actually give my child for lunch today? Like, what did I actually give my child? Because it's true. And even like the quick little like snacks and things like that can feel like a little rush. Like, did you eat something good? I don't care what you ate as long as you ate. Right. And so that is like such a great point. And I feel like in some kind of way, you giving your child like a nutritious lunch where, you know, like at least they're eating well. I'm not going to be there to pick them up after school, but I fed my child right today.
It's my version of a handwritten note. You know, it's like, I just want him to know, like, I got you. But, you know, also the thing, like the food, you know, so many people write me and they're like, well, it's a socioeconomic issue. It's like, yes, there is a huge problem with our country where children who are on, you know, provided lunches, or the government only has $1.40 per meal per kid. I mean, that's fucked up. Right. And that is a huge problem. And there are food deserts and all sorts of things. But I'm in lower Manhattan. I'm watching kids walk out of like $50 million townhouses with a Lunchable in their hands. Like those aren't moms that can't afford it. Those are moms who are taking the path of least resistance because you don't want to have the argument, which I also totally get. Like, I don't want to have a fight either. You know, it's the last thing you want to do. You want to shut them up or like, well, you're like, please make the sound stop. But it's not worth it. Like, this is a battle, like, it's worth having. This is a stand that's worth taking. So like, that's my message with dictator lunches.
I get it. Cause you don't want to exactly guilt the parents either. Right. No, because then you're going to turn everyone against you and they're going to be like, listen, like you're guilting them. Yeah. And there's like a fine line between guilting the parents and trying to give like really great advice or.
Oh my God, completely. No, I'm at a private school and like, I'm in a fight with the school because they're like still giving chocolate milk, which I'm like, what? Chocolate milk? Like, and then you expect the kid to sit in his chair? Like, what are you talking about? That's like bonkers to me. So yeah, no, I know it's so hard and I have like alienated so many people, but I'm just so passionate about it. And I think that like, I don't know, maybe somebody will.
Well, listen, I definitely need to read it. You're such like a well-rounded, I feel like there's so many different sides to you that like, and I'm learning this all today. I'm just meeting you, but you have like, you're very interesting. Can I say that? I feel like you really are. You're so interesting. Like, I want to hear everything you have to say.
That's so sweet.
Hey guys, I'm Sam.
And I'm Taylor.
We were just internet strangers who moved across the country to become roommates.
And now we host the F Word podcast.
Right here on Podcast One.
Our podcast is Fitness Uncensored.
Listen in every Friday for all things fitness, health, and lifestyle.
Think of it like FaceTiming your two best friends.
While also learning how to become your strongest, most confident self.
Join the community by tuning in and following us on Instagram.
At @F_Word_podcast.
Listen and follow the F Word podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. See you on Friday.
Okay, so I do this really fun thing on my podcast. It's called Grilled with Gorga. Okay. So I want to play that with you right now.
Okay.
Rapid fire, quick questions. Just give me your quick answers really quickly. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Your first celebrity crush.
Steve Martin.
What? Really?
I was obsessed with Steve Martin as a kid. I was like, oh my God, I don't know why. I loved him. In Three Amigos, I was like, he's the one that I would want to be with.
You're right. In the Three Amigos, I could totally see that.
Right?
Oh my God.
There was something.
I could see that. Okay. Your favorite 80s song. Give me your favorite 80s song.
Oh my gosh. Probably like Echo and the Bunnymen, Killing Moon.
I don't even know that song. How does it go?
Under blue moon, I saw you so cruelly. You kissed me up in your arms to beg you. I love that song.
Okay. I like it. What's your biggest regret?
My biggest regret. It's one of my bigger regrets is that I shared some information about one of my kids. And I think maybe like at the time I thought I needed to, again, this was like going back to the social media thing, but when my oldest son was small, I dropped him. We were playing in the kitchen and I dropped him and he fell and he fractured his skull. And it was obviously like the worst 48 hours of my life. And I posted about it, not a picture of him or anything, but just to say like, if you're a mom who's going through this, like I just went through this and I'm like, you're not alone and like, whatever, just trying to, but now I regret sharing it because I just don't, like, it's still so painful for me that like I did that I hate that it comes up like when someone Googles me or like he'll see, I don't know, just that's. And
obviously he had a full recovery, right? Full recovery from that.
Totally. He was fine and nothing, but I do regret that. And I guess I should say that I regret harassing my husband's ex for all those years because I don't think she appreciated it.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that's another good regret to just put out there into the world.
Yes,
okay, well, what
for her to know.
I hope if you're listening out there.
Yes, exactly.
What's the best decision you've ever made?
Well, I think one of them would be finally having kids. To do it, I was scared. I didn't want to. For me personally, another victory for me, my kids speak German and like forcing it has been amazing because now they speak, but I forced it from the beginning. And, it was definitely, there were times when I should have probably let go and given up. And I was like, no, guys, you're doing it. So,
wow. So now I need to get better lunches and I need to teach my children German by the time we have this podcast. Great.
So, it was just like a dream of mine. And I was like, that's so insane. Could I actually like really enforce it without living there? And like, I've just stuck with it and now it makes me so happy. Whenever they want something, they ask in German because they know that they can like probably get it.
Then you're like, okay, that's going to push you to the yes.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve. You know what my biggest pet peeve is? I am one of those people who, like, if you had something, whatever, any of my friends, I'm like a great hype woman. Like, you fucking need it, whatever. Nobody needs to ask me, if one of my friends has something going on, I am like built for their PR. Like, I'm made to be just like that megaphone. And what kills me is, and maybe it's just because I'm going through it now, is seeing the people then that when you have stuff coming out that like don't show up for you in the same way. I'm just like, really? I'm fucking shocked. Like,
huge pet peeve. I agree with this one so much.
Right? You're just like, are you kidding?
Of course. When you're out there supporting and then you need the favor back, so to speak, in which way, and they're not back. The worst. And I can't say, yes, I can't say that I haven't recently felt that way about certain people that they've asked me to come and support their even books coming out, their events, their podcasts, their things. And I'm always I always do it. And I can't say it's always reciprocated. I've been noticing that. So pet peeve. Yes, girl.
Right.
Preach, because I feel the same. Okay. Tell me about the worst date you've ever been on. It doesn't have to be Jason, but it could be the worst date you've ever been on.
The worst date I ever went on was probably my sister's friend set me up with this guy, and we went to a restaurant. He was like a manager. So like first part of the date, he was like off talking to somebody else, like networking at the restaurant. The next part of the date, he's back at the table getting wasted, telling me about his ex-wife. The date ends with him laying on the floor in my like studio apartment at the time, and like me like giving him therapy just about like his life, how it was like in shambles. And I'm like, anyway, have a good night. That was probably like one of the worst dates ever.
It sounds horrendous. That is like, you always come back to giving people advice though, which I kind of think is funny.
I'm like, before you leave, here are some of my thoughts.
I'm like, geez. Okay. What was your first concert ever been to?
Stevie Nicks.
Oh, love. Now there's an 80s jam right there. Yes. Tell us something about you that would surprise us.
Well, yes. I mean, I guess I speak German is kind of random since I am a Jew, but I lived in Germany with this Yugoslavian family that didn't speak English. And so, I ended up learning German.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking. Definitely. And hence why you're teaching your children. Got it.
Yes.
What is your favorite late night snack? Like if you're on the couch at night, you're watching TV, what are you eating?
Okay, so tiger nuts are I'm really obsessed with tiger nuts. They're very random, but I had this hyperthyroid thing happen after my second kid, and I had to go on this AIP diet, which is like autoimmune protocol. Okay. And I couldn't have nuts, which I'm obsessed with nuts, any kind of nut. But I started eating tiger nuts, which are actually a legume. And anyone listening, just try them. Like, don't give them to your kids because they're too hard to chew. But they're very satisfying and like kind of have like a sweetness at the end.
Really? I've never even heard of these. And Joe, my husband sits every night. He has to have nuts all night long watching TV. So I'm going to have to find these now.
Oh yeah. Try them.
What was your first job?
I worked at Mountain View Yogurt, this yogurt shop in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was fired because people would come in and I could not do math at all. And I would have to do it in my head on the register. And oftentimes I would be like, just take it. You can have it. Because I couldn't work the register and I was too embarrassed. So I was just giving away free yogurt.
You just gave it away all day long.
Yeah, because I didn't know what else to do.
What is your favorite show that you're watching right now to binge watch? What are you watching?
Oh my gosh. I haven't watched anything that I watched your season that ended very recently. And then what else have I seen? I watched that movie or the Tinder Swindler. That was interesting.
Oh my God. So did I. Yes. I saw that. And I just watched the thing with Our Fathers where the guy artificially inseminates all of these women and he created 100 of his own children because he was the doctor. Yes. And he took his own sperm.
Oh my God. No, I need to see this.
No, I was like mortified watching. I was like, what am I watching right now? He made over 100 siblings. So every time a patient came in, he would put his own semen in them instead of the husband.
That is insane.
It's crazy. Go ahead and watch that one tonight after you're done with the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yes. Let me just because you're watching Housewives,
yes.
Who's your least favorite housewife on the show? Who do you think is a little off? Just give me a real true thought.
I mean, like Teresa, like I think she's a fun character to watch, but like her just like social gauge like what normal is just like I don't envy you. I think that must be like a really tricky situation.
Yeah, go back and watch all the seasons. Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, I couldn't. I mean, my sister-in-law and I have like stuff, but not like that, not to that level.
Well, I feel like all sister-in-laws have stuff and we kind of just put it out there. Ours seems to be a little bit larger stuff than the average.
I mean, moral compass is just like so interesting.
It's very interesting. Okay. Well, I always end with, how do you treat yourself? So if the day is all about you, Jenny, what do you do to treat yourself?
Well, a lot of people go and get like their like pedicure and like nails done and all this stuff. I don't do that because like, I feel like it takes up too much time. I can't like sit still that long. I need to do get other it drives me crazy. So I'll usually go on like a really long walk if I have the time. I love just like, I don't know, logging like 8 miles or something like that. And then I'm always hungry. So I'll usually order a bunch of things on like, some sort of food app. And then also like come home and rummage to the kitchen and like make things while I'm waiting for that other food to arrive.
And this is the perfect day.
That's the perfect day for me. Yes.
Oh my God. I love it. Listen, thank you so much for coming on today. You are actually so funny. I had no idea that Jason Biggs has a wife that's funnier than he is. Like
amazing.
I cannot
tell him you said that.
No, don't. I actually love him. So send him my love. He's a Jersey boy. So, we got to share the love in Bergen County over here, but we have to do dinner for sure.
We have to. That's crazy. Yes.
Especially if you're always over here. Drop the kids off at your in-laws and we'll take you to like a good Italian spot over here.
Oh, we would love it. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Like, and I cannot believe the story about his party that you blow my mind. You really do. And listeners, do yourself a favor and check out both of her books, City of Likes coming out next week, June 14th, and Dictator Lunches out in September. And be sure to check out her podcast on Podcast One. We're sisters here because we're both on Podcast One. So, and that is The Third Wheel with Jennymollen, correct?
Yes. And I'm going to have you guys on. You guys have to come do it.
I definitely will. Oh my God. You are going to dissect us. Like you're going to have so much fun with us. You're not even going to know what hit you. You're going to be like, this is amazing.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. Take care.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
Remember how 15 years ago I switched to Progressive? Well, I used all those savings to buy that golf club that swings for you. But now everyone who plays golf is really good because, the club swings for you. In the future, which is now.
So switch to Progressive and save big because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.